Welcome to our first episode of the student podcast here at Cecil Hills High School. I'm your school captain, Jasmine Rizzuti, and I'm here today with our vice captain, Tiana Tepsha.
For our first episode, we will be exploring the theme of time and transition, which is very fitting for our current context as Year 12 students. To assist us in exploring our theme, we are joined by one of our wonderful Year 12 advisors, Mr. Morgan Howard. Thank you so much for being here today, Mr. Howard. Let's get into it. What were some of your favourite study tips and or tricks?
Thank you, Tiana and Jasmine. Believe it or not, I was actually not a great student when it came to studying when I was in high school. I was a bit of a last-minute Larry, and so one of my tips or tricks that I used was I used mnemonics to try and remember things. So there's a reason why I remember, is it Sokotoa from mathematics class? So I tried to come up as many rhymes and mnemonics as I could, write them down on a little piece of paper, and use that to try and remember when it came to my HSC exams. Did pretty well. But yeah, in terms of that, it's really quite good.
Moving on to something less school-based, what are some of your hobbies outside of school, besides marking our papers, of course?
Of course. So probably my favourite hobby is soccer. I enjoy soccer. I play for Revesby Workers, and I used to play futsal until I broke my ankle very horrifically in a bad tackle, and I was banned from playing soccer by my wife because I broke my ankle in the lead up to my wedding. So my wife was worried that I was going to end up in a moon boot for walking down the aisle. No, thankfully, because I had to give it up. But yeah, I still play soccer outdoors. And my other hobby is creative writing. I very much enjoy writing short stories. I have actually won a couple of competitions. Now that I've got kids, I've stopped doing it, but I picked up it a little bit lately. But yeah, I really enjoy it, and I teach it as well, which makes it even better.
That is certainly very, very interesting. Bridging on from that, what are 3 fun facts about you?
So one of them I've just discovered lately, and my English class really loves making fun of me for this. I found out I've got a condition called aphantasia. So this one's really quite interesting. I can't picture anything in my mind. So when people talk about being able to visualize something in, when you do like a yoga and you close your eyes and picture something, I can't do it. And I've got to my 30s and I've realized that other people can do this. So you're looking at me confused, Mr. Floresca. Can you picture something in your mind?
Yes, I can.
Yes?
So when you're daydreaming, you're just sitting there blankly?
Yes, that's why I never understood when people are like daydreaming and, I just... Yes, same with the internal monologue. I don't have an internal monologue. You can hear your voice in your head.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, see, Jasmine can, Tiana can, so...
So if you're saying something to yourself in your head, what does it sound like? Just nothing?
Nothing, no.
What about, say, you as an English teacher? What if you're reading a book?
I can conceptually think of it, but I can't visualize it in my head. So that's why when I'm reading, sometimes I struggle with description, and dialogue's my favorite thing when it comes to writing, because that I can relate to, but yeah, description.
Pretty well,
yeah.
Considering you've won a couple competitions with your
Yes,
Exactly,
yes.
yeah.
2 other fun facts. This one's a bit contested at school, but Mr. Floriano is my cousin.
He's not your cousin.
He's my cousin. Yes. Our mums are both sisters, so that's why we've got different last names. But it's a bit contested at school.
I really think that's up for debate, so definitely up for debate.
Each to their own. Mr. Floriano would be disappointed to hear that. And the third is that I originally studied at uni to become a scientist. And now I'm an English teacher who can't picture things in his mind.
We have to ask, what is your favourite thing about being a year advisor? That being our year advisor. It must be the students.
Of course, the students. The biggest thing would be watching you guys grow from, I've had this position, I was told that I had this position in term 3 when you guys were in year 5. Yeah, so you probably don't remember I came to visit you at the end of year 5. You've probably forgotten that.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Don't remember? I must have made a memorable impression then. But just watching you grow into young adults, and just, I think being able to watch you, most teachers, have students in their classroom and they're able to, watch you grow in that aspect, but being able to see you guys grow across the whole school and into yourselves as well is just really rewarding. And I know at the end of my career, when I look back on the things that I'm most proud of in terms of the reward that it's had for me, it will be this.
I have to ask, how do you feel about your Year 7 kids moving into their final year of school? Graduation's next year.
It's scary. I think it's one of those things that it feels like tomorrow. It's always coming, but never arrives. And I'm nervous in terms of what's going to happen when you guys leave. Like a big part of me is going to leaving the school, but I'm really excited for you guys. I do believe Year 12 is the best year. And I really want you guys to savour that. Often you think of the end journey and you forget about the steps along the way. But I hope that you take the time to... I've always said I want you guys to be a team, building each other up. And I feel like you're starting to get that, bringing each other up, celebrating each other's achievements, and picking each other up when you're down. And just thinking about this for next year, I really want you to savour those moments. I know some days are going to be bad. You might have some rough days, and that's good because you learn from those. But savour the little moments, because that's what you remember when you leave school.
We did briefly mention Mr. Collins. I did want to ask, what's it like being year advisor with Mr. Collins for so long, really? You've been putting up with us, but you've also been able to go on this year advisor journey with him.
Well, sometimes I have to put up with Mr. Collins as well. But I think... I originally started the journey with Miss Havis, and then Mr. Collins came in to fill in for, I think, a term. I believe his favourite tagline is that he's the longest serving temporary year advisor. But he has been an absolute legend. I call him my work husband because that's what it is. And year advisors, I think we're really special at Cecil that we get to work in pairs with year advisors. The grades are so big that it just becomes too tough, I think, with one person, but having that support person, I think, we've grown together and we've learnt to bounce with the grade with what you need, and I couldn't imagine doing it with anybody else. And I don't know what I'll do when you guys go, but I know that he'll be here, so I've got a shoulder to cry on.
That is definitely extremely, extremely touching. We will be playing that for Mr. Collins when we do get the chance.
If you could go back in time, because I know we're all around the 17, 18 kind of age in our grade, which is really exciting. All the, fun things to do at 18, none of the responsibility. It's really the best time. But if you could go back and give your 18-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be?
That's a tricky one. 18-year-old me. I had hair down to my shoulder, I think. There's a photo floating around somewhere. I think I had idealized versions of what I wanted to do when I left school. And I was told by so many people, you're really good at this, you should do this. You're really good at this, do this. And I think the biggest advice is that plans change, and that's okay. Having no plans means that every single door is still open to you. And that's what I often tell my grade, that no plans are good because you can do whatever you want. And I think the more that you plan to do something, the more it sort of narrows your vision for the future. And so looking at my past 2008, I went into uni straight away to become a scientist, and I hated it. Wow. Absolutely hated it, to the point that I took a year off. And people told me that I'd failed because I wasn't enjoying it. And it was really tough for a period there. And getting a part-time job where I was able to discover that I really liked teaching allowed me to find my true passion and what I wanted to do in life. And I guess if I can going off script is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yep. As long as you're staying true to yourself, as long as you're staying true to what you believe in and surrounding yourself with people that love and support you, going off script can be a good thing, to make sure that you end up back on script with what you really want to do in life. So that's my advice.
Really appreciate it. It's good, especially in a time where it's all very you got to make your decisions, pick your uni, pick your TAFE, blah, blah, blah. So that's really good to hear. If you could have coffee with one person, dead or alive, who would it be?
I'm in trouble here if I don't say my wife, aren't I? You know what? I probably would pick my wife because it means that our kids wouldn't be there, so we might actually be able to have a conversation. So let's pretend the kid's in daycare. If I had to pick the place to have the coffee, though, I'd pick Melbourne. Melbourne's my favourite place for coffee.
There's a little place called Brunetti's. If you haven't been there,
Okay.
definitely go.
All right, I'll make sure I leave the kids behind and we'll go for a coffee. Probably be my wife. But otherwise, it might be my year 6 teacher.
Wow, lovely.
Really impressed with him as a teacher. You don't often realise you're good teachers in primary school until you've left. High school, I think you recognise them more as you're older. But he was an excellent teacher. So I'd like to have a coffee, be able to show him how much he's influenced me and how much he's had an impact on me.
Oh, that's lovely. Very nice to hear, sir.
That is very kind. Shout out to Mr. Howard's Year 6 teacher.
Yeah.
Mr McKinnon.
Mr. McKinnon, wow. Maybe he'll listen to this one day. You guys can get back in touch. It'd be lovely. I think that closes us out today. Not too long. Thank you so much for your time. We look forward to growing with you for our last year of high school, which is crazy to think about. I still feel like I'm in year 7, not prepared to leave the little school bubble. But, it'll be exciting. So thank you for today. It was good to chat with you.
Thank you so much, sir. Anybody, if you have any future topics you want us to explore in future episodes or any individuals you would like us to interview, feel free to let us know by speaking to Mr. Floresco. Thank you so much, sir, for today.
Thank you very much.